Hi, welcome back to another video. Christy here from Quest for Insights and Motivations. Now we will continue with our quiz, the last week in the life of Jesus. So our book for today is in John chapter 13, verse 1 to 30. So let's start with John chapter 13, verse 5. Jesus said, after that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' what? Letter A, wash the disciples' face. Letter B, wipe the disciples' hands. And letter C is wash the disciples' feet. Okay, so is it A, face, B, hands, and third is feet? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the answer is Jesus began to wash the disciples' feet. Yes. Okay, next, number 2. In John chapter 13, verse 8, Peter said to him, "You shall never wash my feet." And Jesus answered him, "If I do not wash you," if I do not wash you blank, letter A, you have no part with me. Letter B, you will not be clean. And letter C, you will not be my disciple. Okay, so Peter said, "You shall never wash my feet." And Jesus answered him, "If I do not wash you blank, letter A, you have no part with me. Letter B, you will not be clean. And letter C, you will not be my disciple." 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the answer is, if I do not wash you, you have no part with me. Okay, so number 3, in verse 9, Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, not my feet only, but also my blank and my blank." Okay, so hands and my body, hands and my head, and hands and my shoulder. So Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, not my feet only, but also my blank and my blank. Hands and my body, hands and my head, or hands and my shoulder." 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. Okay, next one. Let's move on to verse 14. If then your blank and blank have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one's another feet. If then your blank and blank have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one's another feet. Okay, so first choice, brother and friend, Lord and teacher, and Savior and Lord. So brother and friend, Lord and teacher, and Savior and Lord. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is Lord and teacher. Okay, next one. In verse 14, it says, "If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to blank once another feet." Is it hold once another feet, wipe once another feet, or wash once another feet? Hold, wipe, or wash once another feet? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is, you also ought to wash once another feet. 16. Most assuredly I say to you, a servant is not greater than his blank, nor is he who is sent greater than he who sent him. Okay, so A servant is not greater than his A. leader, B. boss, and third is master. Leader, boss, master. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is a servant is not greater than his master. Okay, so next is in verse 20. Most assuredly I say to you, he who receives whomever I send receives me, and he who receives me blank him who sent me. Okay, so first, receives him who sent me, denies him who sent me, or third is appreciate him who sent me. First, receives him, denies him who sent me, or appreciate him who sent me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is receives him who sent me. Next one in verse 23. Who was the disciple whom Jesus loved? A. Simon, B. Peter, C. John. A. Simon, B. Peter, and third John. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer, the disciple whom Jesus loved is John. So next one, the disciple who asked Jesus who will betray him. Who is the disciple who asked Jesus who will betray him? Is it Simon, Peter, or John? Simon, Peter, or John? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is John, the one Jesus loved. Although Peter motioned to John to ask who betrayed him, it was John who asked in verse 25. Then leaning back on Jesus' breast, he said to him, Lord, who is it? Okay, so next, how will they know who will betray Jesus? How will they know who will betray Jesus? First, Jesus giving a signal. Next, Jesus giving a gift to that person. And third, Jesus giving a piece of bread after dipping it. Okay, so how will they know who will betray Jesus? First, he will give a signal. Second, giving. He will give a gift. And third, Jesus will give a piece of bread after dipping it. So the answer is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jesus giving a piece of bread after dipping it. Okay, so I hope you got some correct answers, or you got a lot of correct answers in these questions. If you didn't, read John chapter 13 verse 1 to 30. All of the verses I've mentioned is there, and the Bible version I use is the New King James Version. Maybe in other version, some of the words are different. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. See you again in the next videos that will be coming up about this topic, the last week in the life of Jesus. Bye!